Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Centre. This is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and shows.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is we'll do it live. Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication.
It's over 9,000. My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there.
Don't face me, bro. It's a trap. I'm a firing believer. Time to Hey, Charlie, wake up. Oh, God, oh, man.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd to Know Basis Show, airing on Phoenix 92.5 FM and all those other wonderful places on the internet, such as Spotify, YouTube, and of course our own website. I am Cian, and a happy new year to everyone. And with me this week are Kev and Darragh. How are you both doing in this wonderful new year?
Ahoy, I am live from Belfast. Live and at no great expense.
Down there in the faraway land.
Just
Down there by me,
gradually moving
up
just more north of the equator year by year.
Well, look, it's a nice cold day, but it's not raining. And I'm overlooking the Titanic Museum at the moment and the SSE, so I'm actually very happy at the moment, like where I am. It's not grey and awful like Dublin can be. So I don't know how you guys are doing, but I'm having a great day.
What about you, Kev?
I'm out looking the moors of Meath, so also pretty good. It is that lovely, like, crisp but dry winter air. I love it. I can't get enough.
Yeah, I love it too. I don't mind the cold. I just hate the rain. So it can be as cold as you want. I'm like, absolutely, let's snow, minus whatever. But once it starts raining, I'm just like, oh no, it's that's where it loses me, because you can wrap up against the cold, but once you get wet, you're then wet and cold, and it's the worst of everything.
Big time. That's it. And I'm a cold weather animal. I hate the middle of summer. I sweat just simply too much for my own good.
Here's the thing. I do love the summer anywhere else. Like, I love Vegas. But the great thing about Vegas is you don't go outside. You're just in the conditioning. So you go from casino to
where
casino.
It's cold.
Exactly. It's perfect. And then you go outside and go into the pool at night, and it's a good time. But here in Ireland, it's just the clamminess. That's the problem. Clamminess. It's too cold. It's too, like, cold in the air, moist in the air, and then it's not ideal. The dry heat is where it's at. You don't want dry cold and dry heat.
Yeah, Cian, tell us what biome suits your lifestyle.
I was going to say that's a really good segue into the Stranger Things, but no, I can do any temperature as long as...
Is it a dark, murky kind of ash cloud, maybe?
To be honest, back when I used to work in the bookshop, like, I actually used to like going out when it was night and coming home again when it was also night. I can do any weather as long as it's not windy. I can do rain as long as it's falling down. I can do snow as long as wind isn't involved. I'm happy.
That's an interesting take. See, I'll take the wind over rain any day, because no, you don't need an umbrella. Like, one of the biggest problems that you have, particularly in Ireland, if you're walking through the city, you just see umbrellas go breaking and go flying. There's so many in the bin. By the way, if there's any umbrella companies listening, we will take sponsorship. I'm not above that.
See, Darragh, you're clearly not like a hat wearer. Wind is much worse for that.
A
bowler hat through traffic, clearly.
No, I wouldn't be doing that now. The hat's just gone. Then you're like, well,
I suppose, yeah, Cian, you're wearing hats for style, not function. Mine are, as a notoriously bald man, mine are kind of plied to my head.
No, invest in like a Panama hat with a big brim, because then it doubles as an umbrella.
You still get wet then, because your body gets wet.
Because it's covering your shoulders, like.
Oh, that's a fair point. But then you have to wear that hat.
Your head into it, it covers your body too.
No, I'm not doing that. An umbrella is where it's at. You get a big golf umbrella and you're sorted.
Yeah, but you
they're-
just said they go away.
No, the golf umbrellas don't, but they're very expensive and huge. I did actually. If you want a small umbrella, you got to pay for it. Like you actually got to like invest in it. And I will never do that because there was one time I did that, had it for one day, and I lost it in the lighthouse. Still haven't got over it. It's 10 years later.
No, invest in a hat. Like, if you ever seen Scary Movie 3, a hat where the brim gets progressively bigger. That's like the
Yeah. We
ideal.
need to start as a society investing in 10 feet diameter witches hats. That's the future. This is
Like
this
the
is
ones
the end of
Sasha
your
Boys wear in K-pop Demon Hunter. Like, that'd be perfect. Like,
that's Korea. Yeah, we know we're bringing Korean influence, but like 1600s Korean influence. Yeah, you know.
oh yeah. I mean, look, if you want to go European, like, stick a buckle on it.
Yeah.
Start hunting witches.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? It's like, as I said, I know we're going to get into Stranger Things, but I start watching American Horror Story again, and it was really bad for a long time after Apocalypse, like famously bad. That's one of the worst series of anything ever. But the new series, or the most recent series that's on Disney Plus at the moment, heavily involves witches, and I'm like, you know what? This series really succeeds when it's about witches. For some reason, American Horror Story, it's a strange show. But they've gone back to basics, and yeah, I just kind of enjoy when it's in its witchy, creepy mode,
No, that's kind
You
of
want to do
benefit
a
of
full-on
like an
review
anthology
then?
series
Because,
of like.
I'm done talking about the weather.
Let's go into Stranger Things because
Small talk is over.
time to get down to business.
Time for content.
I thought you were going to say I set you up perfectly there to defeat the Huns. Let's get down to the Mulan reference, but no one took it, so I'm disappointed. But anyway, no, look, this Stranger Things thing. I'm gonna lay my cards out on the table. I gave up on that show after the first season. I was like, oh, this is kind of lame, and it was like I know some people love it. A lot of people I know really, really like it, but it was during the time of the '80s revival thing. There was like It and all this other stuff, but it also took 9 years to make. So I'm still shocked that like it's like 9 years.
Complaining about that, like, all of what we do in the shadows came out in the time it took Stranger Things to start and end. It's like, well, what kind of complaint is that? Could it be worse if you rushed it? Surely,
it's indicative of.
Properly.
Well, no. Here's the thing. It's indicative of like a pretty bad trend in TV over the past like decade and a half, where TV is trying to err on like become more like theatrical cinema.
Yeah, trying to be like movies. Yeah.
And like that thing, and you have these things where it takes 3 odd years to make a TV series. You can make series in shorter time that are still of good quality, but there is this like stretching for more and more high production budget and like high production kind of fidelity that I just don't think is necessary for TV. And it's the wide-reaching kind of like proliferation of this, where we've and like it's also built like wrapped up in the whole conversation of streaming over, say, a cable network system, where everything is kind of demanding your eyeballs instead of you being able to stumble onto something. So that when you do finally find something, you get a small amount of it, and then you have to wait 3 years.
So so as I said, when I got over this show a long time ago, and I didn't really see the appeal of it afterwards. But a lot of people did, which is fair. But I have been kind of tangentially aware of this because, my family watch it, and obviously I see the memes. So I'm coming at this from that perspective, but also I've seen like the controversy. Now, you guys don't know about the controversy, so it's fitting I'm in Belfast, because what I've heard is.
Well, hang on. Look, can I just flag before you say the controversy? I watched all the 4 last episodes last night, and I have no idea what this controversy is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm telling this, right? So I'm in Belfast now, which is the home of Game of Thrones, and what I've heard is that it has committed the sin like Game of Thrones season 8, where it's this great show that now has had some pretty bad stuff in it. Now, I don't know what it is. I know there's the coming out scene, which I hope it's not as cringe as it looked, but maybe it isn't. So if that's what it is, I'm like, okay, one bad scene is not a reason to ruin a whole show. So I'm curious with this because I haven't seen it. Is that the only bad part of the show, or is the show lazy? I'm genuinely curious. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, I'll answer your question then, because like I did see kind of memes about it going out before, like, saying, oh, there's this big long like coming out scene. But like we watched the 4 episodes last night. We sat from 9 o'clock to 4 in the morning because the episodes are long. And like, yeah, it's a long scene, but every scene in the last 4 episodes is a long scene. Hold on.
So think about
kind of like just a second, Darragh. Like Jonathan and Nancy's like fixing their relationship is a long scene. All the goodbyes.
No. I just have. I have to clarify one thing. When you say so I don't know how many episodes are, right? So how long actually are the episodes? And I'll let you go back. How long are the episodes? Like each one.
Sorry, your sound went really weedly there. I couldn't hear it. Say it again.
How long are the episodes?
Long.
Up to and over an hour each.
I would say most episodes were an hour and 10 minutes. The finale, the one that was in cinemas, is 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Yikes. Okay, that's a very long. To put that into perspective, when you're watching American Horror Story, they're 34 minutes. That's a very long episode of TV.
Stranger Things used to be around that, but to be fair to them, they dropped 4 at the start of the month, dropped 3 episodes on Christmas, and then the last 2-hour one like yesterday. So it's not like they expect you to do all that in one evening. They have kind of parsed it out nicely.
Okay, sorry for interrupting you. I wanted some context.
No. I mean, look, I really enjoyed it. My wife wasn't so fussed on it. But I think considering how many characters they had and how much they had to wrap up, I thought it was a really good like sequel series to the first series. It goes back to just kind of kids in danger being kidnapped. I thought all the stuff they did with Vecna was really good. There's a giant monster fight, which I could see would be worth your time seeing it in the cinema because it looks really good. It does have that kind of Return of the King thing where there's about half an hour of goodbyes, but like, this is a show where like, teenagers grew up with it. So I'm not going to begrudge a bit of emotional closure, like,
But the cast all look about 40.
Yes, I know, but like
it's
a show that's been running for 10 years, and a lot of like I saw a lot of people with Stranger Things. Like, I mean, the amount of Eddies we saw at Comic-Con a few years ago that were all teenagers. So, like,
for sure. But isn't he dead?
Teenagers are now the same age as that, so that doesn't bother me.
Isn't he dead now?
Oh, he died in that season, but that's not.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but that's what, so he doesn't look 40, but the main cast who are kids look about 40.
Well, he's in the Fantastic Four, and he looks like an adult.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I don't know.
Well, look, I'll just finish up, and then you can get your questions in. Like,
okay.
It was long. It was probably too long. But considering, I know there's talk of a spin-off, but considering that, like, it's ending, and I think I said this to Kev, like, a few weeks ago, not enough things end. I thought it tied up everything really well, and it gave all its characters, like, a lot of space to have their closures and have their, like, exciting moments. The only character I thought got left behind was, like, Winona Ryder, oddly enough, who you think would, like, being the lead character. But, yeah, I thought it was very, very good. It tested my patience a little bit. But as endings go, like, there's been so many bad ones. I thought this was a really rewarding one, and it kept us guessing across the 6 hours right up until the end. So I thought it was really good overall. Although I can totally see why it would test everyone else's patience.
So you don't think it's like Game of Thrones level bad?
No, God, no. There's people. Okay. I think the show is just so popular that like a minority of people are hating on it to that degree and making that comparison. It is not that bad. Like, there have been monumentally bad endings of TV shows. It's not in the same league as Game of Thrones or Dexter or Supernatural. No, nowhere near that.
Right.
I remember the Dexter ending the other day. That's still the funniest ending I've seen in a TV show. That beard was bad.
Yeah, no. So Dexter had a history of bad beards and bad wigs, where they like instead of de-aging them, they just put a wig. It's like when you put a backwards baseball cap on Jigsaw. It's like come on, what are you?
That finale had the
doing?
worst looking CGI hurricane I've ever seen, and somehow the
Yes.
beard looks.
Yeah, the beard.
Anyway,
the beard is will be all right.
Podcast. No, the same thing. It's like it is drawn out. It is long. The pacing is kind of really up and down, but overall, like it satisfies what the show was kind of going for and closes the loop. I'm of the belief I think the show could have like ended a season earlier, and not to say like I mean that last season should have just cut off. I think you could have cut chaff out of like seasons 2 and 3. If they knew that this is where they were going, this could have ended 2 years ago.
See, that was my next question.
Yeah.
Like, it really feels like a lot of this bloat is artificially padded out. And you're like, why didn't you just... Like, it's funny, when I heard the Game of Thrones comparison, it was the opposite. They wanted to end it quicker so they could go make the Star Wars movie that never got made. And it seems like Stranger Things were like, no, we want to hang on to this before we end it. So I'm just like...
Well, I mean,
can
probably the most popular show.
Oh, go on, Kev.
Well, I mean, to that, like, it probably is the most watched show on Netflix. So, you know, the creative team and the Netflix execs probably wanted to keep this, like, keep the money flowing in for as long as they could until it became creatively draining. I don't think it got to the point where it was like a creative farce. It never got that far. But there is padding there. You can definitely tell that, like, they were trying to stretch things out to this, like, to a season long in some degrees. And also, I think, like, it was the first major show I think they started really playing around with different types of runtimes. You know, as streaming started, a lot of TV shows were still conforming to, like, your normal, like, 45-minute runtime. That would be, like, typical for an hour-long, like, TV block, including ads. And that was just kind of the standard. And I think, like, a lot of early streaming shows were also being put out on TV that were also then being syndicated in that sort of, like, standard block. So I think Stranger Things was the first one to be like, well, we can make the show however long we want. It's not going to be played on TV. And I think there was, like, there was a lot of kind of playing around with, well, what can we do in this? And I think more often than not, they just egg to adding more as opposed to taking away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, you know, I remember the Netflix, like, Marvel thingies, where those, like, series definitely felt like 3 or 4 episodes too long. I don't think any episode of Stranger Things it ever feels like, oh, this doesn't need to be here, this doesn't need to be here. It's just things like, okay, they've been dragging out this conflict a bit too long. They've been dragging this out a bit too long. It always has a sense of, like, good momentum and mystery going to it, and the characters are always engaging.
To some degree. I distinctly remember where I do really like season 4 with the whole, like, Eddie Munson and Vecna stuff. I thought, like, season 4 was, like, a peak of it, but the entire, like, Winona Ryder and Hopper thing in the Gulag, that's the one that I remember thinking was like, you just need to keep these two on the cast list. We don't need to be in Russia this long. But no, all this to say, I do still think the finale worked and was satisfying. But to that note, Darragh, the the coming out scene is, Will comes out to all of his friends. And it's not that it's a bad scene, but it's placed in the story. And again, this might be because of how I watched it, where I caught up with that season when it came out on Stephen's Day. And that was leading up to that end of core of episodes before I waited a week for the finale. So everything was building up. They were building a plan. We're going to go and we're going to take this fight to him. But let's ground everything to a halt for this one thing. It's not a bad scene, but it kind of just arrives with a thud.
No, that makes sense.
To make it worse, again, like, you know, the guy with the beard says, "Okay, we got to go in 5 minutes," and then Will goes, "Hang on, there's something I got to tell you." So it kind of tees itself up for ridicule in that respect, like.
Also, it's like the least surprising thing ever. Like, I don't even watch the show, and I'm like, of course.
I mean, like, one thing I will say about this season is I do feel like Will, by virtue of being the kidnapped kid in season 1, I think he was the most shortchanged of the kind of main 5 kids. So I'm glad that he got to kind of take the center stage in this
But
season.
that's
To
what
the
I'm-
point
but
that Mikey
that's what-
sort of felt like a
but
bit
that-
left behind.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, as in, I watched the first season and I was like, yeah, this kid has nothing going on. So when that was revealed, I was like, give him something to do. It's like, there's no
They
character
didn't-
development.
He has been spinning his wheels for the past 2 seasons since he got unkidnapped. So,
Yeah.
like, I think again, it was very much. I could see that this is where they were kind of building things to, and they just kind of had to get there across 5 seasons. I think I get the feeling that this was kind of the end point, maybe not, if not from the beginning, from like pretty early on. But then, yeah, like I do have to say, like, a lot of the visual effects are great. As mentioned, the giant spider kaiju rocked. I think that was
I wasn't
sick.
going to give that away, but yeah. That and the big, like, tornado of, like, kind of otherworldly horror. That's fantastic.
And then, like, I mean, I mentioned him. I think I mentioned it once when we must have been talking about the last season. But Jamie Campbell Bower as like playing both Henry Creel and Vecna. Like he does very well as kind of flip flopping both performances of that calm kind of simmering evil while also still being like the big monster in the flesh suit. And I don't have the actress's name, but again, the main cast have grown up to varying degrees of actor skills. The fact that they managed to go back, get another set of younger cast members, and still kind of hit the jackpot with them. The kid playing Holly Wheeler is great. That was a fantastic actress. And on top of that, the kid playing Darragh, the little fat kid.
Yeah,
he's a blast. Like he's a little turd. It's
he's
great.
a character who's meant to be annoying, and he sort of wins you over. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like he fulfills that function quite well. But yeah, no, like as I said, it's a show that didn't light my world on fire, but ended in a satisfying way,
Which is a rare thing these days.
Yeah. But consider talking about movies that. Speaking of movies that could end satisfying, Darragh, tell us about Anaconda.
Okay, so I hate Jack Black, right? And I do.
Oh, it's
I
been
do.
known.
Like,
It's been known.
but the reason why I hate Jack Black is because he resorts into skitty boop bop bop ba da ba, I'm a rocker kind of thing. I can't stand it, right? So if he does that immediately, I start getting sick in my mouth. And I actually watched a lot of Jack Black over the Christmas because I watched what's it, Dear Santa, and that's one of the worst things you'll ever see in your life. Trust me, really, really bad, right? But I was curious, and a lot of that is him doing the skibbity bop 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 thing, and I'm just like, oh, stuff. He even does a song and everything, and I hate it so much. But when he doesn't do that, and he's actually acting, he's actually really, really funny, and particularly when he acts against type. So when you're watching like Jumanji, he's like the best part of Jumanji because he's not being Jack Black. And I was actually very worried about Anaconda because I was like, okay, I know Paul Rudd can do it because Paul Rudd's actually really funny, and he's doing this kind of horror comedy arc where he did like The Death of a Unicorn, which is a really good film if you guys haven't seen it. That came out earlier on in the year. So I was like, right, this could actually be really, really bad or surprisingly good. And it really did hinge on Jack Black. I'm very happy to say that Jack Black showed up to work and there was no song. There was no songs, and there was no skibbity bop bop bop, and there was no Tenacious D, and it was just him actually acting against his type. So basically, he plays a wedding photographer or wedding videographer, and basically he's mates with like this actor who he's a struggling actor because he's really bad, and it turns out that they're all part of this small kid troupe where they'd make movies, right, as kids, and they're going through a midlife crisis, and basically Jack Black is the only one who can make it. Paul Rudd I don't remember the names, it doesn't matter. Paul Rudd's like, oh, I actually own the rights to Anaconda. And they're like, how? And then he makes up some bull, what story. And it turns out that he actually doesn't, but everyone goes to the Amazon to make Anaconda. and it's very much like Tropic Thunder in that sense, where it's following people making a movie, and it actually is quite good. And then there's a random twist where he didn't own the rights to Anaconda, and Sony are actually making Anaconda at the time, like they're remaking it themselves. There's a big giant snake that starts killing everybody, and it's just really, really funny. And that's kind of, I don't want to ruin it because like there are like different twists and plot points and stuff. But if your concern was, holy Christ, Jack Black's going to be in this and he's going to start singing, he doesn't do that, and he doesn't act like Jack Black. He actually plays the straight man in it, which he never actually does. And it's very, very funny. So I had a really good time watching it. It's not super violent, but there are some like pretty brutal deaths in it. And then like if you're a fan of Anaconda as well, there are some like little cameos which are genuinely hilarious. So yeah, it's a great time. It really is.
Okay, so it's kind of like, not to kind of quote another channel, but it's sort of like a like best of the worst type viewers, like, you know, where it's a movie about how shallow making these knockoff kind of horror movies actually is. It's not like a horror movie in the traditional sense.
No, quite the opposite. These guys actually want to go and make it because it's their dream to make a movie.
Okay, I thought it was like a cynical like mark.
No, it has like a lot of heart into it, but it's just really funny because like the only cynicism there is from Paul Rudd, who actually plays the villain, if there is a villain in this, because he's lying, and it's all got to do with the fact that he's just a terrible actor. So everyone who you see in it is actually playing against type, and it makes it a very interesting watch. Like, look, again, this could have been Jack Black singing and Paul Rudd being the funny guy, and that would have been okay, but because it's not that, this movie actually jumps up a fair bit. And look, again, if you're looking for like a cool companion, actually a really nice double feature for this would be Death of a Unicorn and Anaconda. I think that'd be a really cool double feature to watch if you haven't seen either one of them.
Okay. All right, because we're going to get into like the box office things in a minute, and it's really weird, like in kind of, we're about to I'll explain the rules of the game in a second in case it's your first time here. But it's looking over the films of this year. Sorry, my son just walked into the room. It's really interesting how there's a huge gap between box office this year and like critical consensus. And I think Death of the Unicorn definitely is one of those ones that fell under the critical, if not the like commercial, like, you know.
Certainly. Which, by the way, Anaconda was the 67th highest grossing movie this year, which leads me into what this game is. So if you're a new listener, we tend to do this every year. I like to rattle off what the top 10 highest grossing movies worldwide. I go international for this one just because of like total accumulation. And I like just kind of get a gauge on like, you know, what Darragh can just kind of think were. It's a guessing game. And it kind of gives us a broader picture of kind of like, you know, what was popular and what was kind of marketable of the year. Just kind of what the state of cinema was for the past year. So if you both are ready, do you want to kick this off?
Sure. So just to kind of clarify further, myself and Darragh have not looked up the box office returns. We're going to guess 10-1 what they are. This is not to do with critical consensus. It's just about the
this
money.
Is pure
to
money.
Get a shape of... Yeah. And I will say, I skewered myself last year by leaning into critical consensus and completely missed out the fact that like family stuff dominated last year to a ridiculous degree.
That's the one that you notice. It's usually the family movies that kind of make the money, for the simple fact of, you know, if you're buying a family ticket, you're probably buying 3 tickets instead of 1.
Yeah.
I already know I'm going to be really sad about this. Because I have an idea of what one of the top ones were.
Well, bear in mind, not to bury the lead too much, but we had an episode back in March on whether Minecraft would be a flop or not. You want to? It is a flop.
It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Not commercially.
Not commercially.
We will get there.
That's okay.
So, we'll start with Darragh. Darragh, what do you think was the 10th highest grossing movie this year?
Okay, it's either Stitch or Zootopia 2.
For number 10?
Yes.
Incorrect.
Damn
You do
it.
not have
Okay.
kids.
No, I don't. That's why you go to the cinema so much.
Ugh.
I have nothing but free time.
Okay. See, I'm torn. I've gone cynical this year. So originally at 10, I was going to put Snow White, but then I remembered those reshoots. So I'm going to throw my one optimistic at number 10, and I'm going to hope that it's Sinners.
You're not. You're incorrect. Now, if it makes you feel any better, Sinners vastly outperformed Snow White.
Oh, good. Okay.
I mean, a
Snow White-
dry turd that has been hit by a bunch of cars would outperform Snow White.
No, Snow White didn't do
Again,
nothing. It was still number
it's not
23, but
critical.
Sinners went up about 360 million. And is number 17. It didn't quite crack the top 10. But I'd say like
Okay.
higher than a lot of people would expect it for an original IP horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
But no, actually, to avow any sort of cynicism, number 10 was Superman. Was James Gunn's Superman.
That was my number 9. Okay.
That's disgusting. Everyone should be disappointed. That movie sucks ass.
You're wrong.
Did you actually watch it?
It's the thing.
No, I
though.
did. No, I didn't. I will not watch a James Gunn movie.
No, okay. Because earlier in the year, we got halfway through a Superman review before he told me he didn't see it.
At least I'm honest. I won't watch his movies. They're all the same. Guardians of the Galaxy again, which I liked, but I'm over it now. He's Jack Black to me.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right. Go on. Let's keep this train rolling then. Because I already know my number 9's wrong.
Okay. Well, then what's... Okay, well, Keith, if you want to rearrange things for a sec, Darragh, number 9. What do you think was the 9th?
F1.
Well, we know Keane's was wrong, so I'm going to give you this. F1 was number 9.
Yeah.
Oh.
631 million.
See,
It's
I
fantastic, by the way.
surprised me.
seen it.
That movie is actually fantastic. I don't know anything about racing, but it's a really good film.
So
Genuinely.
even because I know people that love F1, so I keep forgetting just how popular like it as a sport is. But then I also have to remember just how bankable Brad Pitt as a star still is.
Yeah, to be fair, it's
a Top Gun director as well, isn't it? I should have considered that. Yeah.
It's a combination. It's a combination of everything. It's a combination of how it's like sport anime. You know, like I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I really like Blue Lock. It kind of does that. It Blue Locks F1, where you're like, hell yeah, this is great. You know. So yeah, I'm not surprised with it at all. Once I saw that, I was like, yeah, that has to be number 9. It performed well. It's not going to be the top spot because I already kind of know what the top spot is, and it disgusts me. Not because I looked it up, but because I know, you know, it's like, don't boo me. I know what you cheer, you know, and yeah. Anyway, F1 really good. Number 9.
Okay, so as I said, like we had already kind of stricken Keane's number 9 because it was Superman. So when unless you wanted to, well, we've already said it. So
No. I mean, you want me
Keane,
to throw
what
something
do you
down a
believe is
well?
number 8?
Why not? Okay, number 8. Okay, this one is optimistic, but I'm hoping that it did not the best out of the year, but relative to its budget. So at 8, I'm putting Weapons.
Okay, Darragh.
It might be higher than this, but I'm going to say Jurassic World Rebirth.
Okay, Keane, again, your optimism is getting the better of you. Weapons isn't, but again, still, Weapons still made more than Snow White.
And Weapons is fantastic. Probably the horror movie of the year. If no one's
I've
seen
heard
it.
it.
Weapons, Weapons is the one movie this year where I talk to people at the school gates and I'd be like, "Oh, have you seen Weapons?" And I haven't had that with anything, especially not an original thing, you know.
Yeah, no, Weapons is definitely worth your time, Kev. Honestly,
It's on the list. I must get to it. I've heard so many good things, but no, it didn't quite crack the top 10. But again, still in the top 20. Still better than Snow White. Very respectable for an original horror IP.
What was it?
Number 8 was How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake.
that was. You know what? That's what
I
I
did have that on my back
yeah.
list. But again, I don't even know any kids who saw it.
That's it. I just forgot that happened this year. I know there is some corporate cash grabs in here. This one I forgot happened.
Look, that movie, I really like that series. It did not need to be live action. That's the truth. It's the exact same story. There's no reason for it to exist. But yeah, when I did go see it, we were surrounded by a rake of kids. So yeah, it doesn't shock me. But that means Jurassic World's probably higher because that also pulls in a massive crowd. So I'm still plugging away. Jurassic World is in this list somewhere. Has to be.
There's only one way to find it, and that's to keep going. So number 7. Darragh.
Okay,
we'll go with you.
Oh, you go first.
Okay. I'm still going with Jurassic World in this, but
You can't keep guessing the same one over.
No,
I'm sticking with the other system here.
No. My second backup. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll go with Avatar: Fire and Ash for this guess.
That's a good guess, but
Is it? Am I right? Okay,
let's see what
go
Cian
on.
has to say first.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the final Mission Impossible movie for 7.
Okay. Both incorrect. One is higher, one is lower.
Okay.
So before I tell you what it is, Avatar is higher. Avatar is up in the rankings. Do you know what, Cian? Only when you said it did I realize I hadn't seen Mission Impossible. It was just number 11. And I'm kind of surprised at that.
I keep missing it by 5 places. Oh, they happened last year too.
Even though I know it's obviously the end of it, I'm surprised Mission Impossible didn't break that top 10.
I can tell you why. It's awful. It's
okay, but
awful.
that doesn't make a difference usually.
No, hold on. Look, hold on.
But they still make money.
I know, but hold on. I'm a huge fan of the Mission Impossible movies, right? Like, a massive fan. I was looking forward to this movie for 2 or 3 years, right? And the word of mouth killed this movie because it's so disappointing. So anyone who was going to go see it, if they didn't see it in opening weekend, just didn't bother. That's why it just missed out. This would have been higher if it had been like the movie just before it. That's why. That's the sole reason. Word of mouth killed that movie. That's the reason.
I suppose if it's because I think everyone knew it was the end of the saga, and I think that can kind of go one or two ways of we might finish this out and still go, or well, there's nothing happening after, so what's the point?
Yeah.
It might have hit the ladder.
It might have hit the ladder, but I would say as well from anyone who was a huge fan of it, and even myself, I walked out and I was just like, oh my god, that's so good. How did you bungle the ending so badly, Now, don't get me wrong, it still has some cool spots to it, but Dead Reckoning is such a better movie than Final Reckoning, in every way. So, yeah, that seems to be the best take on the ground of why it just missed out. I would say the reason why it's number 11, you said? Is it number 11?
Number 11.
Number 11. It's because people still want to go see it to see the ending of it. But it would have been way higher if it had actually been satisfying.
Fair enough. But in any ways, to get back on track of the game, the actual number 7, and it delights my heart to see this, was Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1.
Ah, yes, it was good. I saw that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I missed it in the cinema, and knowing it's part of a 3-part cinematic release, I may hold off until all 3 parts are out.
I'm enjoying the way I'm doing it, just raw dogging into random anime and not knowing what's going on.
To be fair,
I enjoy it.
To be fair, I think you've kind of gotten the majority of Demon Slayer if you go to see all of them in cinemas. They kind of just been releasing the whole series like that.
That's fair. That's
and again, two stellar results. And this is one of the ones where I really need to emphasize that I'm looking at the worldwide list. This isn't the American domestic box office. This is international. Because I can see the comparison here. A lot of what made Demon Slayer's profit here was worldwide. Not just Japan now. A lot of Europe was pretty significant in this. But if this was the domestic box office, this wouldn't crack top 50,
Well, you're starting to see it now. I mean, when you go to cons, it's all anime now, even more than capes. Superhero stuff is starting to drop significantly. So like anime, and even to my younger cousins, they're all about anime. That's how I heard about Demon Slayer for the first time. So these kind of movies are becoming, or these kind of movie releases, let's say, are becoming the norm, and they're all skewing towards anime. So yeah, it's great that it's starting to show up in the top 10. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, when you go to those showings, they are packed wall to wall.
It just means like what I'm kind of like, and we're starting to see this. I definitely noticed it with the Chainsaw Man movie. Was that they're just getting a wider release, more typical of like a Hollywood movie. Because with anime movies, you get like a day and that's it. And that's kind of like, you wouldn't get a big box office drop from that because they were special event movies. Whereas now, they're kind of just being treated like a regular cinematic release.
And it's working.
It's working. I mean, that's if they're drawing the crowds. They're drawing the crowds.
What's making it interesting as well, and not to go to labor this, but it is such a unique thing that it still has that vibe about it. When you got like the cape stuff is very formulaic, the action movie stuff is starting to die off. It'll be interesting to see now next year when we're having this conversation when Doomsday comes out, how that actually performs. I think that's a real thing. And then you have like Avatar, which people are like, why are these movies coming out? But you don't get that with the anime releases, right?
If I can actually, before we continue, if I could just go on one small tangent, and we cannot make this the rest of the episode, but I was in the cinema recently that had the Steve Rogers teaser for Doomsday, and one single person started clapping, and I could not stop laughing. I don't want to sit here and shame people too much. Like it was a packed cinema and one clap, and it was a very sincere clap. It was not slow. That's
so embarrassing. Like it's so embarrassing to do that in general. Like it's like people who cheer at the screen. Why? It's not a play.
I'm going to do that if I'm in a cinema and that pops up now, just to keep it going.
But anyway,
I will say actually, even though I liked all the Marvel movies this year, I've no Marvels on my top 10 for the first time. Just because I don't think they performed well at the box office this year.
I don't want to think about any Marvel. No, sorry. Did the new Avengers come out this year? I like that one.
Yeah, I did.
I like that. That was a good movie. Yeah, I actually really, really enjoyed that one. The rest of them, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah, kind of. I thought there was something just kind of hollow about Fantastic Four. I saw
it twice.
Fine. It was fun. I just didn't feel anything afterwards, especially coming off of Thunderbolts, which really delighted me.
Thunderbolts
was top of the table, yeah.
Yeah, Thunderbolts is a triumph, I think. It's very, very good. Fantastic Four, I saw twice. I saw once when it came out, and I saw it in the States with my family, and I was like, I never want to see this again. And it was the same, there's nothing there. It's just too hollow.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? Now, as we're kind of coming towards the halfway point, I don't know if this will mess your list up, Cian, but I'm going to rip the Band-Aid and say that, there is none of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
No, I didn't put any.
That's wild.
I was
That's wild.
This time.
Yeah, that's one trend we can talk about in a tick. But back on track, number 6.
Okay.
Start with Cian.
Okay. All right. I'm going to guess Zootopia 2.
Okay. Darragh?
That's a good pick.
Snakes crossing its arms. You can't beat that.
Okay. I will say if it isn't Zootopia 2, it's Jurassic Park. Go.
No. And I will say both are higher.
God!
Both are up in the list. Because number 6 is Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Really?
Okay, that's lower than I expected for Avatar.
I thought it would be 7, but I'm shocked that it actually is that low.
I had that as my number 2 pick.
I'm wondering if this. I mean, there definitely is. I think a malaise. I think towards the franchise now.
how many times can you make the same? I'm not going to swear. How many times can you make the same movie? It's the same movie.
I didn't want to kind of give away the goat a little bit, but this was the movie where I saw the Steve Rogers trailer, and it is like there's kind of no two ways about it. He's made the same movie 3 times. And okay, this certainly, but it is, and I think people are starting to kind of cop to that, where no matter how good the CG looks, you need to have an original story.
Okay, look, I don't want this to become a whole episode because there are rants about it, right? But when I saw the first movie, I was like, and I actually wanted to talk to you about this, Cian. Like when I saw the first movie, I was like, okay, it's amazing, it's great. Then I saw the second movie, I'm like, the Colonel's back. How is he back? He was dead. That was a big point, and he's learned the same message again. And then when I saw the reviews of the third one, I actually was going to go see it. And you guys should know me. I'll go see anything, particularly after a hockey game, because there's a cinema right beside it. I outright refuse to go see it because I'm like, I guarantee you that's the same movie again. And as I was flicking through on my phone, the review was, it's the same movie again, but twice the length. I'm like, I'm not sitting through that. Like, I don't know how he gets away with making the same movie. And my question to you, Cian, is, hold on. I haven't asked the question. I know your brother's a huge fan of this series, like a massive fan. Is he still on the bus after this, or is this what he wanted, or is this
that's what I was going to say. I'm not going to talk about him particularly, but I think the people who like the Avatar series are just happy to spend time in the world. So, like, the story...
You know where you can do that, but you know where you can do that?
It's kind of second nature to its appeal.
But you know where you can do that? And it's funny because what I'm going to say contradicts exactly what I've just said, but it's true. In Animal Kingdom in Orlando Studios, in Orlando, Florida, they have Avatar World, they have Pandora, right? And it's the coolest.
Jenny Nixon video on it.
Yeah, but Darragh, a cinema ticket's a bit cheaper than a flight to LA.
Not LA, Florida. It's not in LA. Don't make that mistake. You'll be disappointed. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, like, I love that theme park, but the movies just don't do anything for me anymore. And I don't really understand why. But I'm not the only one who said this. A couple of people have been like, I actually really like the theme park, but these movies are just... and I think it is from what you guys said, where it's like, yeah, the visuals are great, the world's great, but there's no plot. It's just like, how many times is he going to do this? There's like 5 movies coming out, right?
I got a sincere feeling that this would be a franchise that if James Cameron can let go of the reins a little bit, could be cool. But if he's just going to keep recycling things, it's going to get burnt into the ground. But anyway, we're getting short on time.
Okay, sorry.
So that was number 6. Again, still respectable. These movies are still making money. They're just not making the most money as they'd had been. But anyway, on to number 5. We'll go back to Darragh.
Can I have a hint?
No,
you have.
No hint.
Changing your picks and everything. This is ridiculous. When I got told Superman was wrong, I stuck with it.
I apologize. I'm sorry, Cian.
Sorry for bringing the mood down.
I'm sorry, Cian. I am.
I'm sorry too. I just don't like the rules.
Okay, it's okay. We can follow the rules. I'm going to pick a wild card. I'm going to follow my heart here. Okay, Tron Ares.
I changed my mind. You break the rules.
Final answer. I'm locking it in.
Lock it in. Okay, Cian.
Okay, well, since Avatar was my number 2, I think all my other picks are wrong now, but I'm going to say Wicked for Good.
Ooh. Both wrong. Wicked for Good, you aren't far. That was number 13. That broke 500,000.
Next year, I'm just going to guess the top 10 to 20, and I'm going to clean up on it.
And I think that probably got hit with the reviews. I think there was where I think the first one really surprised people. This one was like, Wicked Act 2 was not great, and this doesn't fix it. So people were like, I'll pass. Darragh, Tron Ares performed worse than Snow White. So there's your case.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Poor
good for you for following your heart.
Poor Jared Leto. Do you know how many times I've seen that movie? I wanted to see that movie 7 times.
Yeah, and you're the reason it got as far as it did.
It must have been, yes.
But that
my
brings
God.
us. So number 5 is Jurassic Park Rebirth. Is the one
Oh,
Darragh has
that was
guessed
gonna be
5
my
times
number
already.
4. I keep getting it just off.
Which I'm actually surprised is as high as it was. Not because I love this movie. I think this one is
So do I.
think this is the best Jurassic Park movie in over a decade.
Yeah. Oh, easily. Yeah.
But,
It's actually really good. Yeah.
I think I was surprised that the franchise still had the legs in it to make to perform this well, considering the reputation that the last 3 movies had.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's dinosaurs. And if they go in with the premise of saying that there's going to be dinosaurs doing dinosaur stuff, and it delivers, it's going to do well. I think, Jurassic Park fails. It's never going to be the first one because everyone making those movies have forgot why the first one was so special. But the runner-up, I think, is if you just have a lot more dinosaurs doing cool dinosaur things, you'll actually be all right. When you start getting into melodrama, actually at Christmas or New Year's, we were watching Dominion. It was on RT2. I don't know why we were watching RT2, but we were. And for our American listeners, RTE, as you all know, is our state broadcaster in Ireland, and they have a second channel called RTE2. And it was on, and we were watching it, and it was you forget the half of that movie is about bugs, and the other half is about an evil tech company. You're like, this is a nonsense movie. This Jurassic World just went right back to basics and said, look, we have a clear video game mission here. Here's the hits. You're going to have raptors. You're going to have T-Rexes. You're going to have a Mosasaurus and pterodactyls. You're good. This was a winner. I actually really enjoyed this movie and I'd watch it again.
Yeah, and that's it. You have add to that an actually solidly charismatic cast. Yeah, you do it's very simple. So yeah, no, I'm delighted. I hope that that this is that the lesson to learn is just make things basic with these dinosaur movies. It works.
Yep, keep it simple.
So number 4, we'll go to Cian.
It was going to be Jurassic Park, so I'm going to stick with it.
You're going to stick with that, okay? Darragh?
Just on the honor system,
On the honor system, of course.
Okay.
At least one of you is.
Hey. Right. So, okay. I'm going to be sad with these 4 picks, haven't I?
Probably.
They're going to be bad movies that parents are dragged to keep the kids happy, which is fair. I respect that, but I don't respect one of them, and I don't know where that one is. But as soon as it's announced, it's going to be so upsetting.
Do you want to where do you want to throw that, Darragh?
I don't want to throw it at all. 4. Okay.
4 minutes.
Lilo and Stitch.
Warning, everyone. 3 minutes now.
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch is my number 3 pick.
Okay. Do you know what I'll say? We'll do this as a double header.
Okay.
You know Cian's number 3. You've got Lilo and Stitch as your number 4, Darragh. What's your number 3?
Minecraft.
Sorry, Cian. What was your number 4 again?
It was Jurassic Park. I know that's wrong.
Oh, it was Jurassic. Yeah. Close, but no dice. Number 4 was Minecraft.
Oh.
Number 3 was Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, I got one wrong.
There's some justice. There's some justice in the world. The fact that Minecraft.
There's some justice. Minecraft didn't quite make 1 billion.
Exactly. If that had been it, it would have been time to pack it all up and just go make everything with AI.
Okay, well, I'm just going to have to sit out because number 2 for me was Avatar and number 1 was Minecraft. So unless Darragh has any spectacular guesses, I think the game might be done. Yeah,
I already guessed Zootopia way back, so it's more likely Zootopia, and I don't know what number 1 would be.
That's Then we'll kind of go. We'll kind of run through this then fairly short form. So yeah, no, the top 3 were the 3 that grossed over 1 billion worldwide. And that was Lilo and Stitch. Number 2 is Zootopia, and I'll hold off on number 1 for just a moment. But yeah, that's Disney still kind of wiped up the box office. And again, as I think has been the trend, it's family movies. Mm-hmm. That's it's always your safe bet. The movies that are always going to make money in families. The Lilo and Stitch one is particularly galling because I hope that Snow White would be the death curse of ending the live action remakes. But then Lilo and Stitch have to go make $1 billion.
There's still
and I
hope.
haven't
Oh
seen.
yeah,
still
well,
hope.
I mean, the reason I just to put in very quickly, the reason I knew Lilo and Stitch was going to do well is our daughter made us go to the very last screening in Dublin, like 2 months after it was already out, and it was still full.
Jesus
That
Christ.
was like that movie did well.
You know how I knew Lilo and Stitch was going to do well? Because Minecraft wasn't the death of cinemas.
And even then,
I'm so
and the one, I think
curious for number one now.
I'm always, and just kind of a note on Zootopia, I think I always forget just how popular the first one was.
Yeah,
And like,
crazy
I think
popular.
I know we can make a joke that like, that furs were propping it up, but even then, like, just even outside of that bubble, like, Zootopia was huge. And by
It
all
was the
accounts, I've
first
heard the
one
second.
after Frozen, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
by
it
all
also
accounts,
was a
I've
good
heard
movie.
I've heard Zootopia 2 is good. But yeah, no, $1.4 billion. It has very quickly, like, I think because that came out since Avatar,
Yes.
if I remember.
That
So
was
like it has,
mid-November.
yeah, like that's it. That has shot up very quickly. So obviously it's not before the end of the year, but like it's still got a cinema run. There's still going to be movie in that. But here we come to, I think I have to say probably the weirdest upset to this entire process, as long as I've been doing this. Do you just not even like given your current guesses, just shot in the dark. What do you think was the top grossing movie this year? Worldwide.
honestly have no
Again,
clue.
this is the kind of the key part here.
So judging by the way you're phrasing this, it's probably something that revolves around one of the growing markets in India or China. Is it an Indian or Chinese movie?
Yes.
Am I right? Ah, there we go. Yeah, because China
The
now
movie-
China is one of the biggest markets, if not the biggest market in the world right now. So that's why the Transformers movies do so well.
The highest grossing worldwide movie this year is a Chinese animated movie called Neja 2.
Wow.
That made $2.1 billion worldwide. The 99% of which came from the Chinese market.
Yeah, because there's a billion people there, dude.
Yeah, so it's just I know obviously there's been this kind of trend in the past, like very short year, where like the Chinese market has started really expanding out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this certainly got like a limited run, but not like a popular one. But it's just it's so interesting that like that has kind of swept up like that much money so quickly. It's such a kind of an interesting upset. And I know the Chinese market has always been big, but like this is a new level.
Well, here's the thing, right? So that is surprising, and I will keep this brief because we are short on time. But what's interesting about this is, think about it, right? There is no competition. The Marvel movies have just dropped off, right? The ones that are allowed in China without being edited. There's no Transformers movies. Certain content can't be shown over there for certain reasons. If it covers specific topics, so that removes some movies. But there is a push internally to make more internal content. And it makes sense. It's like it's the largest market in the world. So if it wasn't going to be one of those movies, which look, the call a spade. If it had been a Transformers movie, that probably would have made that much money, right? I don't know why. They just do. If you can let us know, please do. But Transformers movies clean up. And a large part of it is because of China. So it makes sense. It really does.
Yeah, I'd wonder. No, because I'm looking at actually, let me just open up and get a wider brew. Because it feels like the slot that would kind of fill, or the movie that would fill that slot to a certain degree, would be Jurassic World. Although that didn't do too well in China. It's about 79 million. Not as much as I'd expect. Yeah, no, it's an interesting kind of like show, and I think we're probably going to see a trend like that over the next couple of years, where if we're going to be doing this sort of thing, and we'll probably see it kind of creep into like the American domestic box offices, where we'll see more Chinese stuff, more Chinese produced movies kind of get into it. So it's an interesting turn. But yeah, no, that's again, as far as like the kind of the current outlook, the superhero movies, the bubble seems to have burst, and things like that's diminishing returns. We have the death knell kind of next year. If Doomsday underperforms, I think it's dead in the ground.
Yeah, and this does kind of skew towards something that seemed hyperbolic, whereas like the death of Hollywood, But no, I mean, like, quite literally, Hollywood wasn't even involved in this. And this is something that was warned for a while. But again, like, certain things were keeping up, like Transformers. Again, that's not a joke. That's not a bit. It's, you look at it, they just perform insanely well.
Also,
Michael Bay did huge
well,
numbers.
no, I think that they're
Huge numbers.
It
Huge
is
numbers.
still, I mean, like that's the film industry itself isn't going to collapse because I mean, as we've seen time and time again, family movies are going to continue propping the whole thing up. That's not going to change anytime soon. The one that I do think is very interesting, not just speaking a little bit outside of the top 10 we've been talking about, is that horror has become a blooming industry. You know,
Yes,
we were
it's
talking.
so cheap.
You make
original horror too.
'Cause it's so
original
cheap.
horror.
Yeah,
Like
but it always has been.
You guys made guesses at Weapons and Sinners, you know, which did, but they weren't even the highest grossing of horror movies because The Conjuring came out this year, which
course it did.
like showed the franchising can really kind of like make
Backbone
really
too
make
as
in
well.
money.
So here,
So,
what was The Conjuring the highest grossing horror movie of the year?
By the look of things, that was number 14.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that was a good movie to be fair.
With then like even just kind of again peeking down the list, Five Nights at Freddy's.
That also was quite good. The second one was
I
pretty
suppose
decent.
you could call 28 Years Later. 28 Years Later actually underperformed compared to what I'm thinking.
Fair.
Okay.
But like, that's
always kind of a
list,
growing.
yeah.
That's so like there is still like original stuff out there if you're just kind of branching out a little bit. But
That's
yeah,
an
no,
interesting
again,
list. Interesting list.
it is it's a very kind of interesting foresight into kind of what the next year movies probably looks like.
Right. Well, it kind of ties in, and just this for the final word on it, I suppose it's interesting now that like Netflix is owned by Warner Brothers is owned by Netflix. What's that going to look like going forward? So,
Well,
you know,
we'll have to see if that
2026 is
goes
going to be
through.
interesting year.
Well, I mean, we have to see if that goes through first, because also Paramount have laid a claim, and if they can get by antitrust laws and yada yada. That's
It
what
doesn't
we're keeping an eye on.
exactly. But see, here's the thing: it doesn't matter who owns it. It's still going to impact Hollywood as a whole because that's going to change the way we perceive movies, right? It's so yeah, it's wild. That's great. Definitely want to keep an eye on.
But we are tight on time, so we will have to wrap this up now. But thank you, of course, for listening. If you like what we do here, you can check out all of our back catalogue on all the streaming services of your choice, SoundCloud, Spotify. We also have a YouTube channel with all of our back catalogue, so if you go over there and hit subscribe, we'd really appreciate that. If you want to find any of our social medias, you can find all of them on nerdtoknowmedia.com. There's, of course, as well to support us further. You can find our Patreon. But until next week, I've been Kev.
I've been there.
And Happy
Cian.
New Year. And he's been Cian. I'm sorry, Cian.
That's all right.
But yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.